57 degrees. Skies are going to remain mostly clear through the evening. Once again, we'll drop below freezing. Low temperature tonight, 28 degrees. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
Be a part of the conversation.
I listen on the way to work.
Have your say.
It's more than just opinions, it's facts.
This is WSIC News Talk Now. And the guilty is recorded live with the men and women of law enforcement. All suspects are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Now, here's your host, Iredell County Sheriff Darren Campbell.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
I think every day you wait to play the music and see if you can make us laugh at you, Joe.
I didn't play the music. I made the music.
Every day it's made the music.
I
We stand
made
corrected.
that intro for you, just for you guys.
And we very much appreciate it. And it's like I told you before the show, there'll be something extra in your mailbox at the end of the month.
That's wonderful.
Try to get you a raise. So, listen, appreciate everybody joining us on the good, the bad, and the guilty today. Sorry last week we were sort of missing in action. Things going everywhere. But we're glad to be back today. And listen, tune in to us on 100.7 FM, 105.9 FM for everywhere else. You can listen to us on Facebook. We will watch the comments. And also, we just found before that you can actually listen to our podcast on Apple and Spotify. And, Joe, that's the question. Where do you download it? Just download it?
Yeah, you got it. Apple,
I mean,
Spotify.
I'm saying just WSIC.
You just search the good, the bad, and the guilty.
Really?
Or you can search WSIC, and you'll find our page. You can just scroll through, find the good, bad, and guilty.
So you can listen to it later when you're out doing your walk.
You can listen to it at 2 in the morning if you'd like to.
Really?
Yeah, if you can't sleep and you need the smooth voices, you know.
That is it. And who made that happen?
Oh, WSIC did.
I thought you was going to say you. I was going to give Justin a hard time.
Well, I do edit the audio to
There
make
you
it
go.
sound crisp and beautiful. But
Well, today, if you see a bunch of us, thank you again for joining us. Listen, if you know somebody, a friend or something, send them a message, tell them to share, listen to the show. We'll be glad to answer any questions we can. We do take live call-ins, so give us a call, 704-873-1400. I'm joined with Chief Bill Hamby, who's usually my sidekick here on Wednesdays.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Today,
How are you?
Doing good. And if you see somebody that's not me or Bill sitting here beside of me, we have the distinct pleasure of having Senator Vickie Sawyer, the 37th.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. I know we've been talking a lot, seems like during the week, and there's so much stuff that goes on in Raleigh. But before I even ask you, I got to tell the people what kind of, you've been a great senator. We are blessed with good legislators. But on top of that, you currently serve as the chairwoman of the Senate Transportation Committee.
Oh, do I?
You do? At least that's what we heard.
At least that's what the press releases say.
That's right.
And you're also a member of the Senate Finance, Commerce, Insurance, Rules, and Appropriations. And I'll read that again, Rules and Appropriation Committees. And that is, for us, you have been instrumental in helping us get money from Raleigh. And I think when we say appropriations, everybody hears, pork, whatever. But I can tell you this, when we bought our new boat, and we'll get into that a little bit, we could pay the whole price. And the way my math works, there's 100 counties in the state. So if we can get it from the state, we pay 1% of that versus all the other state who comes enjoy the assets here, such as the lake. They chip in the cost with us. And y'all work that through, among other things. So thanks for being here. We appreciate you being here. And we're going to have some pretty good conversations. I know everybody's going to talk about the fentanyl bus, and we'll get to that a little bit, but I want to get Vickie.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
I am too.
I know. We'll get her initial
about that.
words first. So, Vickie, have some fun, say something.
Well, I'll say that green is not my color, but I'm pretty jealous right now.
Why?
I do not have an awesome intro like that for my radio show. I feel like there's some favoritism going on here a little bit, and I don't blame you for choosing the good sheriff over me, but I'm going to put in my request.
I can make you one. You just got to let me know.
Okay,
and I'll make
well,
it sound nice and pretty for
no,
you.
it's okay. No, that was actually really, really great intro, so I appreciate it.
I always wonder whose voice that is because it's not ours.
Right.
That's
No,
just our
it's-
voiceover guy.
It's Mr. Big Voice.
Really?
Mr. Big Voice. That's that's exactly what we call him.
Yeah.
I hope y'all pay him good then. He does a fabulous job.
But Bill has a pretty big voice.
Yeah, it's just because I'm fat.
We can have
Yeah.
you do the speaking part if you'd like to re-record it. That way it's all produced right here.
So what you're trying to say is hometown.
Exactly.
Made here in Iredell.
Exactly. And I mean, I don't know, that voice you have right there, it'll sound real
A lot
good.
of that's
cold.
allergies.
That's what I say. You always tell us every now and we come in deep pressure Johnny Cash voices because it's either something's going around the office, and like I say, now in the schools, if you got a kid in the school, I went yesterday to a school with mine and said there was 61 sick. I was like, I'll just stay outside.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, you just send them outside.
Well, they called today. We went to one and had a good thing. Went to see some little kids for Santa Claus in one of the city schools, and they're like, don't touch anything. There's a lot of them sick. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, now, you bring that up, Sheriff. I did get an email today from where my boy goes to school, and there was a parent bringing up an interesting question. Apparently, their child has tested positive for COVID.
Oh.
Well, she is in a room with a roommate in the room, and she's quarantined, so the roommate's like, where am I supposed to go?
Good question.
Yeah, apparently Western thought that was a good question, too, so they're trying to work that out and figure out where to put this child. So, I mean, it's always something all the time.
I tell you, it is. And with little kids like, well, I don't have little 14, 16, then that's in school, and everything travels home. Well,
Yeah.
you're the same way.
Yeah,
Everything
it is.
travels home from school. So.
Yeah. We have some NyQuil takers in my household right now, so I understand about the sickness that's going around. But I really want to hear about this fentanyl bust. This is a big deal. I mean, you've made national news.
No, that
on what you
dog
guys...
made national news.
Okay, let's find out about the dog and tell the story about what the reporter asked you about this dog.
Okay. Yeah, I will say this. Okay, listen to this story. We had a picture on Facebook, and we'll come back because he's already going to put us on a break here in about 3 minutes. But we had a picture of all the fentanyl, about 53.5 kilograms, and there was a dog in front of it.
Mm-hmm. A good-looking dog.
A German short-haired, which is one of the only dogs that I know of that's trained in the detection of fentanyl.
Oh.
I don't even know in the state.
And I want to bring that up when we come back. Remind me of that, because you were forward-thinking enough to make that decision. We'll talk about that more when we come back.
Well, yes, we will. And so a reporter yesterday about 10 after 5 had, listen, I've got the press release. I just need to know, which one does the dog belong to?
So she thought that the person who was trafficking the fentanyl had this beautiful dog?
Yeah, riding shotgun with him, I guess. So I said, no, we didn't seize the dog too. We just seized the truck and the drugs. So the dog was ours.
Yes.
So, and that is Groot. And like I say, we'll take a break real quick, but that's the story with that. So, Bill, do you want to start it, tease it before we go to break and come back to Vickie?
I can certainly tease it. As you know, and here again, sitting on the National Sheriff's Association and being the president of North Carolina Sheriff's Association, as our listeners know, you are privy to a lot of intel from across the country, from our other state and federal local partners. We saw fentanyl coming years ago, and now it's cresting and starting to crash on our shores, literally. So when we purchased Groot, you made the decision to go ahead and get him
certified.
And as far as we know, that's one of the only fentanyl detecting dogs in the state at this time.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So anyway, on Sunday, our interstate team was out there looking for criminals and came across a 2014 Freightliner tractor trailer and stopped that vehicle for some traffic violations. And during the course of the investigation, Groot, our K9, was able to get out and positively indicated on the truck. Started talking to the driver and the passenger in the vehicle, and quickly determined that something was not right. So they were able to search the vehicle, and that's, as you said, Sheriff, found 53.6 kilos of methamphetamine and cocaine mix.
No,
fentanyl. And it was 118 pounds for those.
I've got so many questions that we can ask after the break.
Oh,
yes.
I want to know,
Yes.
where was it, and how big does that really mean, and all those fun things that
Yes.
inquiring minds want to know.
We will, and we'll come back. And, in addition to that, you hear a lot about asset forfeiture. We'll hit a little bit of that because we talked about it on state level. North Carolina's one of the only one that does not have bulk cash smuggling, but along with these drugs, we're almost $130,000 in U.S. currency cash money. And that was not their savings account. So we'll be back in about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, and we'll talk about this a little more.
With Iredell County Sheriff Darren Campbell will return after this short break on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Already thinking about what you're going to do in the new year? Several performances scheduled at Kane Center for the Arts are already sold out. Some of the upcoming Kane Center performances include Rocky Lynn, Forever Young, Jeff Allen, and even a Stunt Dogs experience. To see the entire lineup and to purchase your tickets, visit canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Want to see more than 5 million Christmas lights at one time? Speedway Christmas is back. Happening daily, the amazing Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway is happening now through January 7th. The show is open 6 to 10 p.m., rain or shine. The infield Christmas Village is open Thursday through Sunday nights. Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway, now through January 7th. For tickets, visit charlottemotorspeedway.com. Santa is here. Schedule your time to take pictures between now and Christmas Eve in Birkdale. Appointments include time with Santa and 8 digital images from the professional photographer. For more info and to schedule your time with Santa, visit birkdalevillage.com. Come enjoy mistletoe sip and shops in downtown Mooresville this Friday. Open houses, store specials, sumptuous sips, divine deals, and yummy appetizers. Oh boy! This Friday night, 6 to 8 p.m. Mistletoe Sip and Shops this Friday night, downtown Mooresville. For more info, visit downtownmooresville.com. Have an event you'd like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on Events to submit your event today.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. We're expecting sunny skies through the entire day today. High temperature as you get through the afternoon is going to be 57 degrees. Skies are going to remain mostly clear through the evening. Once again, we'll drop below freezing. Low temperature tonight, 28 degrees. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
Your home for the holidays. WSIC.
It's the good, the bad, and the guilty with Iredell County Sheriff Darren Campbell on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
And welcome back, everybody, and thank you for tuning in today to The Good, the Bad, and the Guilty here on 100.7 FM Statesville, 105.9 for all of our points south and east. Also, if you have any questions today, we have Sheriff Campbell with us. We have Senator Vickie Sawyer on air with us today talking about drugs and fentanyl and our big stop here lately, and then all the good things that Senator Sawyer and Sheriff Campbell are working on down in Raleigh. So if you have any questions, please give us a call, 704-873-1400. So, Sheriff, as we were going off the air, we were telling everybody about the vehicle stop. So we were able to stop the tractor trailer for some violations. Canine Groot came and, as we have said, was trained to indicate on the presence of fentanyl. Groot indicated. We were able to search the vehicle, found 118 pounds of fentanyl and over $100,000 in currency. Both these individuals were arrested without incident. Lorenzo Juan Arreola, 44 years old, of Sunset Park, New Mexico, and Lucio Eduardo Chavera Alvia, 33 years old, of Chihuahua, Mexico, were the two individuals involved in the vehicle. And I know you have some more stuff to say about that, so I'll stop here and let you talk about those two individuals.
Well, and both of them, as you can tell, we're still working with federal authorities. Used to in the day when we do detainer requests from the federal government, I can get an answer within an hour. Now
or sooner.
Now I'm still going since Sunday evening. We're still waiting on an answer. So that just shows the breakdown in immigration status. Either they're too overwhelmed or they just don't want to tell us. But the one individual I'd go out 99.9% sure he's from Mexico. He's in this country illegal.
Yes.
We know that that those drugs were not manufactured in the states. We know they're across the border. We can tell by the ones transporting. We can tell just by where they're manufactured through where the precursor chemicals come in to process fentanyl. But one thing we discovered, and you see I used the word when we talk about this was odd that we seen a mixture, a possible mixture with cocaine. We've heard about fentanyl being involved in drugs and people may not knowing what they're taking. When you look at cocaine from our business, we see a lot of the different I guess, socioeconomic classes that use different things. Cocaine is one of the ones your more professional type drugs that we see abused. And to have fentanyl mixed in, even a little bit of cocaine with a lot of fentanyl, it's odd. Well, we're not used to seeing that. So we're wondering, is this a deadly cocktail? We're just wondering why. But just to put it in perspective, and I think you said this, you may not, this is enough to kill. And I mean, wrap your hand or your head around it. 26 million people. That's 2.5 times the state of North Carolina's population.
Yes.
Those reporters were in the news. We did a press release, and the reason I did it is usually we don't, but I didn't want to have to move that stuff around because they will always call and want to see this. So we had it covered. They come in, then we uncovered and told them they were in a room with something that could kill 26 million people, and the reporter's mouse.
I could imagine.
And then, of course, one of them says, "Are we okay?" I said, "I wouldn't be standing here if we wasn't."
Right.
So,
right. Yeah.
But
so what does that look like? What is 26 fentanyl that can kill 26 million people? Is it in bricks, and how big is it? Like
a kilogram is what we go is 1,000 grams or 2.2 pounds. Usually it's about 8 inches across by about a foot long, and it is pressed just like and there's some pictures of it.
Oh,
it is pressed just like a brick. It is stackable.
Okay.
They store it. You know, the design is by design for their press. It's designed for transporting it. It's convenient, but stackable. It's just like firewood. You can throw it in a pile and not get as much, but you can stack it and you can transport a lot more.
So please tell me these guys were like super sleuthy or whatever, and like hid it in some compartment that. Like
they hid
you
it in
would
the duffel bag.
No, they did not.
Yeah, it was not very concealed, which is even more worrisome because.
So just like a duffel bag in the back of their car, just
not really concealed.
Oh wow.
I mean, we do have a lot of concealed stuff, but if you noticed, our last few things we have switched over to commercial vehicles. We really invest a lot in commercialized training, and we have gotten some good licks here. Everything we can't put out to the press, just because of ongoing investigations. And obviously, I hope this one continues on. And most likely it will, but so that's where we're at. And
here again, Sheriff, if I can interrupt, it goes back to we're able to receive the intel from the state, federal partners at the national level to hear about the trends that they're seeing at the border, that agencies are catching just on our side of the border, about how these cartels are transporting these drugs, and we're able to not change, but kind of transition the way that we go after these cartel members by looking at different vehicles, because as they evolve tactics, we evolve tactics to catch them. And there again, having our interstate team now not only looking at regular motor vehicles, but now commercial motor vehicles is the trend we're seeing, makes them more effective in making stops such as this.
It does.
Sheriff, you mentioned something that it's new to me. So explain to me, you said North Carolina is one of the only states that doesn't have a bulk cash smuggler. What does that mean?
Basically what it is, if we catch, everybody transports. First of all, you'll hear us do about a lot of large drug seizures, cash seizures. Now, you could travel down the road, Vickie, you business owners, we regularly encounter $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 in cash. There's very legitimate purposes for that amount of money, and hardworking people deserve to keep all they can. But now when we stop a car and I have 20 bundles of $25,000 in cash wrapped in green wax paper with axle grease and dryer sheets, we can usually feel comfortable making decisions. It's organized crime money. So North Carolina does not have a bulk cash smuggling. If we get drugs and cash, North Carolina does have a tax. But if we catch just drug proceeds of these drug dealers and mules heading back to the border, wherever they be, we cannot, on our own, adopt that money. So we work in cooperation with HSI, Homeland Security Investigations. We're task force members, so we can do the adoption on site, and that's worked well for us for about 20 years. And where that pays off is a Bearcat for our SWAT team, trauma kits for our schools. I believe we used it to buy safes, gun vaults in our schools, ballistic blankets for our
shields,
ballistic shields for our every elementary school. We seize money to buy ballistic blankets or shields for dogs. Trying to think of drones, what all we've used it for. So that's where it comes from. And the thing with this amount of fentanyl, and everybody says we talk a lot about the border and we talk a lot about drugs, but the things Bill and I will see is the nexus to other crimes from the drugs, because then you create dealers, and then you've got everybody getting in the drug game. Well, they use violence to protect their sale and their distribution networks. Then you get into the addicts, and then addicts steal. Addicts break into your houses. Addicts rob. And then you got your other dealers that sell in your communities, just like the one up on Yakin Street here in Statesville. I mean, we got fentanyl.
Absolutely.
We got fentanyl and methamphetamine buying multiple pounds and $85,000 in cash, and that was just a couple weeks ago here in Statesville.
Wow. It's there.
And that investigation is still ongoing and has taken some interesting turns.
Well, and
that
I
we can't really get into, but one day soon our listeners will be able to know. And you wouldn't think that would be going on in Statesville.
Well, you know, the old saying is, I wouldn't beat a dead horse, but this one's still kicking. And we've got to make sure people understand
Absolutely.
how much. And listen, we took a hard stance on it. And I make no apologies, and neither do y'all. But our crime rate's down 55%. And out of the other 12 biggest counties, we're half the crime. So something is working. But we've got to get the word out. And that's one thing, Vickie, and I'll get with you, but I do want to say in that press release, you know, I specifically, and we called out members of the U.S. Congress, you know, H.R. 33 is there. It's a visa stuff, you know, it's surveillance stuff. There's a lot of stuff built into that I don't agree, but we've got to keep the asset forfeiture going, because the only way we will track, Bill tell you, they can make drugs all day long. They can make drugs and send them up here, but you start attacking their profits, that's where it hurts them. It disrupts the whole distribution line.
And Sheriff, you shed light on something that I don't know that our listeners may comprehend about that. But
I don't know. We got some smart listeners.
Oh, no, and I don't mean that, but just something that you and I have always heard, in Dow and our narcotics folks, in the times that we were at narcotics, the cartels don't really care if you knock off 118 pounds of fentanyl. They'll make more.
They don't care if you got a submarine full.
What hurt them was that cash.
Got it.
What hurt them was the money, because they can't spend the dope, but they can spend that money.
And they've got to pay off routes and protections and things like that. So. You know, it's a problem that we got seen. We've got calls. I got a call from sheriffs in Delaware. I've heard from Arizona today. So, but Vickie, before we're going to break in a little bit, one of the things that North Carolina, our General Assembly got, and I actually wrote down here for the sponsors and the co-sponsors, and you, and let me tell you, Britt, McGinnis, Alexander Bergen, Hangan, Kravick, and I don't know, I'm Kralik. I know
you got it.
I'm not saying it right.
You got it.
Perry Sanders and Sawyer. Let me tell you what that is. It's Senate Bill 189. And it's basically y'all getting ahead of the fentanyl drug offense and related changes. Y'all increase the penalties and everything to make it hard on these I'm about to get in trouble.
Easy now,
on these drug dealers.
Easy, FCC.
Well, I know that, and helping us push through the Attorney General's office to help get our information back on our death by distribution cases.
Yeah.
But you were instrumental. I mean, your name is there in black and white as we can pull it off. That you were in it, and you seen the foresight of what we've been preaching. You listened to us, and. I think you're the only one that I see on there that I'm familiar, at least that I know. But anyway.
Well, I'll tell you, the two of the main sponsors of that have had personal family members lose their life due to fentanyl. And we also hear that in my office all the time. And the only thing and the only weapons that we have is to be able to empower you as sheriffs and law enforcement to throw the book and hopefully our judicial system to throw the book at these people, which you are doing. And that was what our intent with this legislation is to increase those penalties, to make it some sort of deterrent, and to increase with like the death by distribution. So if you are out there and you're selling and someone does die because you sold it to them, then you should be charged as a crime.
And I want everybody to see, you know, the sheriffs and us and the General Assembly, we always work together because we are in elected office. I know some people call it politicians. I refer to community servants.
Aw, thank you.
Well, that's what I know. Our lieutenant governor took that too, so I'm gonna call him out right here. We were saying it first, but anyway. But the fact that we worked together and y'all was able to pass legislation, because it is hard to tell how many lives you will save, and the General Assembly and the members that voted on this. And after y'all put it in place, I'm sure we all voted for it. I'm sure all y'all did. But the fact that somebody took the time to put this out there, put their name with it, against some of the backdrop that said, you know, let's not mess with, you know, these are not dangerous to nobody.
Right.
But y'all did it.
Yeah.
And hats off to y'all.
We continue to do it. And so you're right, Sheriff, that it's so important. And I tell everyone that I talk to, when it comes to law enforcement, I have one rule. I call you and I say, what would Darren do? That's my rule, because it is, and it takes
It'll
that
get
network.
you in trouble at some point.
No, it has never gotten me in trouble. I doubt it ever will. So I just appreciate your hard work.
Well, I appreciate it. We'll come back a little bit. We want to talk a little bit about judges reducing some of the bonds on some of our cases every now and then.
Yeah.
Be back in about 2 minutes.
More of The Good, the Bad, and the Guilty with Iredell County Sheriff Darren Campbell coming up on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. Get 6 times longer lasting freshness plus odor protection with Downy Unstoppables in-wash scent beads.
Save big every day during Lowe's 25 Days of Deals. Right now, get these can't-miss deals on appliances. Get up to 30% off, plus save up to an extra $750 on select major appliances. And with Lowe's Pay, you can buy now and pay later to get instant payment options for online purchases. Shop these savings because Lowe's knows deals every day. Valid through 12/13. Appliance savings vary based on purchase amount. Exclusions apply while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for details. Subject to credit approval.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. We're expecting sunny skies through the entire day today. High temperature as you get through the afternoon is going to be 57 degrees. Skies are going to remain mostly clear through the evening. Once again, we'll drop below freezing. Low temperature tonight, 28 degrees. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
My dad has a cold, but also has high blood pressure. That's why I got him Vicks DayQuil High Blood Pressure for max strength daytime relief. Unlike some ordinary cold medicines, it's specially formulated for people like my dad. DayQuil High Blood Pressure is sugar-free, alcohol-free, and decongestant-free.
Vicks DayQuil High Blood Pressure. The daytime, non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, cold, and flu for people with high blood pressure.
Like my dad.
Medicine. Use as directed.
Oh, I think we're lost again.
Wait, what does that sign over there say?
Caution wildlife crossing?
No, next to it.
If you're 60 or older, you may be at increased risk of serious consequences from RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, compared to adults younger than 60. Ouch, I didn't know that.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. RSV vaccines, including Pfizer's, are available. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Senator Tom Tillis is harnessing the power of clean energy to create a stronger America. Building a clean energy economy will create high-wage American manufacturing jobs and expand opportunities for hardworking families to thrive and prosper. Investing in clean energy innovation will strengthen our electric grid and make it more resilient against natural disasters and foreign hackers. Senator Tom Tillis understands that clean energy is vital to America's economic and national security. To become energy independent, America needs an all-of-the-above energy strategy. Wind, solar, and homegrown biofuels can help break our dependence on foreign energy, create a booming economy, and protect our environment for generations to come. America can lead the world in clean energy innovation. Call 202-224-3121. Thanks, Senator Tom Tillis, for building America's clean energy economy. Paid for by Americans for a balanced budget.
Now more of The Good, the Bad, and the Guilty with Iredell County Sheriff Darren Campbell on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Joe, you know I like my Alfred Hitchcock music, man. Come on.
Changing it up.
I know he is. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for staying tuned or just now tuning in to The Good, the Bad, the Guilty here on WSIC. I have Sheriff Darren Campbell with us this afternoon and Senator Vickie Sawyer representing the 37th District here in North Carolina. She represents all of Iredell County and northern Mecklenburg County and doing a fine job. If you have any questions for us, please give us a call, 704-873-1400. So before we were going off the air, Sheriff, I think you guys were talking about Senate Bill 189.
Yes.
And one of the things, Senator, and I just want to say thank you very much for going out. I wouldn't say on a limb because everybody should be against fentanyl, but I'm sure there were probably one or two folks that kind of voted against this bill.
Yeah, I was just looking at it because thank you. You'd asked me that right before the break, and I pulled up the bill. And
we don't do a lot of pre-show planning. Yeah, we're guys, so we just sort of wing it.
I love it. That's kind of like David and I. So I totally am right there with you. So there were several no's on the Democrat side in the House. So there were, I think, maybe like 10 to 12 folks who voted no on this piece of legislation, and for whatever reason, I am not sure. But it's just a surprise to me, especially with we're having the issues that we are with fentanyl.
In their right mind? And voters, ask yourself, who in the world would not vote against tougher penalties on fentanyl and people selling fentanyl?
And we're telling them the crime it caused to the drug distribution and the addicts and the deaths, and
I don't get it. I really don't.
I don't
mean,
either.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't know how they could not support.
But Sheriff, you were talking about to kind of go along the lines with Senate Bill 189. Maybe tell our listeners, and you alluded to it a little while ago, but maybe drill down into House Bill. Now, this is U.S. House Bill.
It's House Resolution.
House Resolution, yes, 3333.
There's a lot of stuff. You know how they stick a lot of stuff in a piece of legislation. There's a lot of, you hear FISA warrants, you hear a lot of this stuff. And there's some stuff in there that I think should be maybe a little bit curtailed back, mostly for the federal government. The federal government, the weaponization of federal agencies, we have even seen that locally. Got a lot of good friends that work for them, but we also understand their calls and what they're doing, just like in this case. We can know when they want to step back from certain things. But it's basically part of the press release we did, and, potentially us as working in public service can get in trouble sometimes. We're not really in trouble, but make enemies when we speak out against somebody.
And I will say,
of legislation.
I won't name names. If you wish to, obviously you can, because you're the one that received the call. But you have received calls from our federal partners and legislators.
Mm-hmm. What do you want me to say? I have, but yes, but
I'm just going to leave that right there.
No. I did tell them, and I said, listen, and the context was we sent the press release. Of course, the mic broke on the video on Facebook. It was basically, listen, quit being reactive and start being proactive. Mm-hmm. Quit telling us you're going to do it, and secure our borders and make sure that you make hefty penalties on these people that's poisoning our communities. Because these people, they're poisoning, and it is poisoning. It will be your future kids of tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, it's killing people outright.
We was looking at more people. We hear a lot about, mass shootings, and we hear a lot, and that's a bad thing. Look at the people this drug and this poison is doing to our communities. Mm-hmm. I really want to say, and there's been a lot of things that come from our community means a way it could be a change to a weapon during a terrorist attack, and it could be.
Of course it could.
Remember, fentanyl is deadly on contact,
which
means we recently had one in the jail that we spoke about last week, and I hate it. I'll tell the truth. He had it inserted inside his body. Mm-hmm. He expelled it and ate it and was dead quick.
Yes.
Really?
There's nothing that we, Narcan, all the stuff they do, there's not a lot that we can do.
Mm-mm.
But I will say this, going back to that, we did speak out and trying to urge them to support legislation, put pressure, make decisions that help your communities that you serve. And we do have, just coincidentally, we do have a District 10 congressional seat here that's open.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure
recently opened
as of last week. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of fine people jump up and say it. My old saying, proof's in the pudding, or pie, whatever you want to call it. But either way, that might be the wrong one. But we do have one of our legislators that's currently serving in the North Carolina House that has experience with legislation reaching across the aisle. Definitely has worked with law enforcement. Definitely understands safe communities. We spoke about it, protection of Second Amendment, and usually I wouldn't. I'm just telling fact. It is what it is from Iredell County. The only one I know is Gray Mills. Is going to be running for U.S. Congress, and I urge everybody to check all your candidates. But you have a chance to have at least one from this district that I've heard is running. And I think you worked with him.
Yeah, I did. So I'm excited to see for Gray Mills, candidacy for this, because it is an Iredell County seat, and I want it to be an Iredell County strong candidate, and Gray is definitely that. A lot of people who may not know Gray Mills do know his father-in-law, which is Randy Marion, and his wife Jennifer, and you see that beautiful family on,
They do a lot for the community.
Yes, they do a lot for the community. They advertise everywhere, but they really have a servant's heart. And Gray and Jennifer both grew up here, right? And their families here. They understand our needs, and especially with law enforcement, farming, business. And he is a lawyer, and it is very. You read laws all the time, so you're probably a lot better at it than me. But sometimes you have to. These laws, it's very difficult to understand what they're even saying. So
I think you got a caller or four.
Oh,
it looks like I see.
We got one.
Hello, you're on with Good, Bad, and Guilty. It's Darren. or the sheriff, whichever. Can you hear me?
Hey there, Sheriff Campbell. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Oh, doing good, doing good. Hey, I just wanted to say thank you. I appreciate you and Bill always taking time out of your days to get on the radio and kind of talk about what's going on with the county.
Thank you.
Appreciate what you guys are doing and keeping us safe, and all the great interactions I've had over the years with your deputies, and just they all seem to do a fine job, and I just really appreciate the efforts.
Well, we sure appreciate it. And we sure appreciate the support, and we really appreciate you taking the time to call in. That means the world to us.
Yes, sir. Hey, just had one question. Is
Yes,
there
sir.
like a website you can go to see, like, people that, have a criminal history, or maybe like sex offenders for Iredell County, just like that are in your neighborhood, or, just
You know
something that
what?
you could
I have got an answer for that, and I've got an app for that. If you would go to Iredell County Sheriff's Office and Google and Apple Play, we actually have a free app. You can enter in a person. You can search sex offenders. You can search who's in jail. Now, as far as a true criminal history, other than that, you can go to the clerk of court, and there's a lot of paid services that provide that, but we do provide that free of charge on our app, and you can go in there and search sex offenders by names, addresses, locations, even event history. So
You
that
can
is
sign up
available.
that if someone moves
Yeah,
in
and you
your
can sign
area,
up, yeah.
you'll get a notification. Yeah.
Okay, so that's on your website, though, the links to that.
We do have links on our website, iredellcountysheriff.com. But as Sheriff Campbell is saying, the easiest way to access it is through our app. And it's Iredell Sheriff's app. It's on Apple Store.
Iredell County Sheriff's
Iredell
Office.
County Sheriff's Office. It's a little round icon. It's black with our star on it. Go on there. It's free. You can download it. We do not and will not sell your addresses or your stuff to other folks. This is strictly for us to get information to you as citizens, and it does, as Sheriff said, give you an access to our sex offender registry. Gives you access to information of upcoming classes and things that we offer, and we will push out our press releases through the app. It's just a lot more responsive, real time than even going through like Facebook or Twitter or something along that line.
Gotcha. Okay, well, I'll have to check that out. I appreciate all the information. Appreciate all y'all's hard work.
Hey, thank you. If
calling,
you ever
sir.
need anything, you know where to get us.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Y'all
Yes,
have
sir.
a great day.
Thank you. You as well.
I hear that a lot.
Which part?
How great you are.
Oh, shoot.
Can we talk about that?
I
mean,
prefer not.
no, we should, because you are the president of the Sheriff's Association, and we've talked about this before. And I joke around about what would Darren do, but I legitimately do that. What would Darren do when legislation comes up that deals specifically with law enforcement? But you have that same footprint, not just here in Iredell County, but all over North Carolina, and that's a big deal. I mean, it's a very big deal to have our hometown sheriff representing the Sheriff's Association across North Carolina.
And I very much appreciate it. And I'll tell you, I'm flattered, and every day I think, but the only reason I'm where I'm at is because of all the citizens here. And, they put their trust in us. And it has been. I talked to another county last night about doing an event on some of this border stuff and coming up and speaking. So I'm very lucky. And I got a lot of good people surround us. I mean, the deputies do. And then I've got y'all, General Assembly. Y'all make the laws, we enforce them, but at least you're listening to our concerns. So, and that's the reason I sort of want to make sure that this stuff got tagged for our congressional delegation on this fentanyl. Listen, it's not something we're no longer reading about in Arizona. This is here.
Yeah.
So that was part of that. And so, it just happened to come up, that we do have local. People need to do their research, but we got a good guy that I know from Iredell that I at least know for 25 years now.
Yeah.
And I don't know that we can get into the destination location of this load of drugs, Sheriff, but these drugs are headed to a location city on the East Coast.
Well, I think we released it. It was heading to Philly.
Okay.
We
All
didn't
right.
do the distribution point from there, but we do know
So we'll
it's
say
headed to Philly.
Philadelphia.
Yep.
So, and I've heard you say this before, and you brought it up just the other day. Well, why y'all got an interstate team out there? Why y'all stop? Because if we don't stop those drugs here and it makes it to Philadelphia, and someone overdoses on those drugs, we would feel awful that we didn't have that we had the opportunity and didn't do something to stop it.
We've said that. What if you as a dad, all of us have children, what if they overdosed on a load or drugs that come through Iredell that we could have stopped, for one thing? Second is, when I got sworn in, between those county lines, we're going to enforce all laws.
That's right.
And it's illegal to carry 118 pounds of fentanyl up the interstate.
Yes, it
Right.
is.
So that's sort of where we're at on that. So, but yes, we got about 30 seconds. Then we'll be back for our, Joe, that's kind of a longer segment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's our final segment.
Really?
12 minutes, you said.
Man, times flew.
Yes, it
I'm telling you what. Okay, we'll be back in about 2 minutes.
good, the bad, and the guilty with Iredell County Sheriff Darren Campbell on the way from the new 1059 100.7 WSIC.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Already thinking about what you're going to do in the new year? Several performances scheduled at Kane Center for the Arts are already sold out. Some of the upcoming Kane Center performances include Rocky Lynn, Forever Young, Jeff Allen, and even a Stunt Dogs experience. To see the entire lineup and to purchase your tickets, visit canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Want to see more than 5 million Christmas lights at one time? Speedway Christmas is back. Happening daily, the amazing Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway is happening now through January 7th. The show is open 6 to 10 p.m., rain or shine. The infield Christmas Village is open Thursday through Sunday nights. Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway, now through January 7th. For tickets, visit charlottemotorspeedway.com. Santa is here. Schedule your time to take pictures between now and Christmas Eve in Birkdale. Appointments include time with Santa and 8 digital images from the professional photographer. For more info and to schedule your time with Santa, visit birkdalevillage.com. Come enjoy mistletoe sip and shops in downtown Mooresville this Friday. Open houses, store specials, sumptuous sips, divine deals, and yummy appetizers. Oh boy! This Friday night, 6 to 8 p.m. Mistletoe Sip and Shops this Friday night, downtown Mooresville. For more info, visit downtownmooresville.com. Have an event you'd like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on Events to submit your event today.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. We're expecting sunny skies through the entire day today. High temperature as you get through the afternoon is going to be 57 degrees. Skies are going to remain mostly clear through the evening. Once again, we'll drop below freezing. Low temperature tonight, 28 degrees. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
Stop dreaming about the perfect lawn and make it a reality. Drum Landscape Supply now offers personalized lawn plans. Visit drumlandscapesupply.com and collaborate with our experts. Drum Landscape Supply, your local one-stop landscape shop.
Check out what's jingling around your hometown on WSIC.
The good, the bad, and the guilty continues now. Here's your host, Iredell County Sheriff Darren Campbell, 1059 100.7 WSIC.
Thank you, Joe. That's my music right there, buddy. I think we have a caller, though, Sheriff. Joe, do we have a caller? Hello, you're on with the good, the bad, the guilty here on WSIC.
Well, hi there. I just want to chime in real quick before you start your next segment and thank you for your hard work.
Thank you for calling in.
Sawyer knows no problem. Senator Sawyer knows I like my sayings. I'm the American dream saying girl that's like, have your American dream. Just don't crap out a bunch of nightmares on people along the way.
Yes.
And I want to thank you guys. Yeah, and I want to thank you guys because if we were putting as much effort into being upset about CI as that people are about AI and the government, we'd have a peaceful country. And you guys are doing that. And what CI is criminal intelligence. So thank you for busting that.
Thank you. Thank you so much for calling.
Focus on that CI.
And thank you for calling us.
No problem. Just want to put it out there, and someone's got to root for you because there hasn't been a lot of rooting lately. And you guys are textbook doing your job, and I thank you for it. Hopefully it's not going to spill over in other counties. Yeah.
Hey, that means a lot. And listen, you have a good, very Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Thaning you.
Thank you. Same here.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for calling, taking your time.
Those are cool calls.
They are. Makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Makes you feel good. So, Senator Sawyer,
Sir.
Before we went to break, and then after, as the sheriff would tell you, we do a whole lot of show prep.
Uh-huh.
But one of the things that I would like to thank you on behalf of law enforcement for working with your fellow senators and House reps down in Raleigh is tightening up the, I guess you could say, judicial limits with magistrates so that if someone is out on bond and they commit a crime, that the magistrate doesn't have discretion anymore like they used to, and we now have no bond. And it's helping keep our community safe. Now, we'll continue to make that argument, as the sheriff has done before, about, bonds thereafter. But as the sheriff is also famous for saying, bond is not punishment, it's just there to protect the community. So don't want to put you on the spot, but y'all did a really good job with magistrates.
Yes.
Could you maybe do something with judges?
Yeah, I see what you're going. I see where you're going.
Well, remember, what's our favorite say? It's called the criminal justice system, not the victim justice
That's
system.
not really a gotcha, but just kind of putting it in your wheelhouse to say, hey, guys,
okay.
keep pushing that football down the field.
Well, we saw that problem coming out of Mecklenburg County, and so Danny Britt also.
Oh, there's a lot more coming out of Mecklenburg. But go ahead.
Where magistrates were kind of just letting these guys walk the street after law enforcement was doing really good work. And so, go ahead, Darren.
No, Bills won't put me on the spot. I was going to say something about another case. Okay, well, listen, I'm going to get you off.
It's public record, sir, so what you're telling is true.
Well, and I will say, you can name the judge. I think Dow was texting us, our captain over narcotics. We worked a case on these methamphetamines working on the east side, distributing from inside the city. The tentacles extended out into Mooresville, Love Valley, and everything.
Countywide.
$2 to $3 million bonds. And we understand bond is to ensure an appearance in court, but also to protect the community from committing certain crimes and dangers.
That's right.
These people was in there, and suddenly they get in front of a judge and reduced down to less than 100,000 or 100,000 something from $3 million.
And seems like they all had pretty significant criminal histories.
They did. Some of them not from here. So, the defense attorneys are doing their job. I hope they're listening. They're doing their job. They are to advocate for a client to make sure the fair trial and all that good stuff. Our problem is to keep career repeat offenders in jail when we can. And if you're distributing that much methamphetamine into our community, you'd sell it to a kid. You sold it to an undercover, so you'd sell it to a child.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think one thing, if they need to reach out to me, we would be glad to. We'll talk about judges and where we're at. And we've got good ones, but we got some that don't understand. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but they got to protect the community.
I got a question from a voter's perspective. Okay, so it's hard to find information about judges, and we do elect judges, right? Some of our judges, right?
Yes.
Some of our appointees, but others are elected, and we have an election coming up pretty quick soon.
2024.
Yeah, about new judges. So me as an everyday voter, if I want to make sure that I vote in a judge that's tough on crime, is there a track record? How do I know what these judges are actually doing versus are they doing what they say or not? How do I know?
I've asked that question, sort of a database of how many cases are continued, how many cases are There is no database for that.
There's none.
Not that I'm aware of.
There used to be a program many years ago, Sheriff. I think you're familiar with it. It was called Court Watch or Court
I wish
Watchers?
we had Court Watchers, yes.
Yes.
And we do have. I think there's several that, I don't want to speak because I don't know who's retiring and who's not, but I know that one announced for a judge already, Courtney, I think, announced. Grade ADA, worst cases against criminals. She's filed for judge. I don't know which seat it is. I know Judge Underwood, the one that we're dealing with here in 2024, I think is up this year. That's one if you go back and search that on Facebook, we've had some disagreements on that before, just with law enforcement services. Nothing against nobody personally, but our job is to make sure our community stays safe as possible and by all means necessary.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I think the General Assembly has always been very attentive to when I've called, not just this, but different things, just like we did with the magistrate, some of that no bond, and I've heard good things. And I can't remember exactly what the situations have to be, but it's been a good thing for us, and it's been a good thing for victims. So, but my famous saying, Vickie, or Senator, sorry if you hadn't heard, it's called the criminal justice system, not the victim justice system.
Okay, very good.
But I would say, ma'am, to answer your question, find your sheriff, find your local law enforcement.
Okay.
Ask us. We'll tell you. Now, there again, nothing personal, but if we can give legitimate public information, and you don't have to act on our information, but we deal with it, you deal with it, and it's not just criminal cases. We're talking civil cases where someone may get sued. We're talking child support things. We're talking DV cases. They rule on lots of different things. So ask a wide variety of people. But if you want to know what affects your day-to-day safety in your county, ask your sheriff, ask your police chiefs, ask your law enforcement officers, your troopers, your SBI agents. Ask us. We'll be glad to tell you.
And Bill was an event this past week. You went with me to give a speech, and that's what I was talking about. And I will straight up to ask me, what's the biggest thing we do? Make sure you do your research and elect the people that make the laws. That's the reason I pull up, when we said, great, it's nothing against any other candidate that may or may not file.
Sure.
I've just worked with Representative Mills, and I've known them to be from Iredell County and been very good, and I think they're a good family. I think he's got good reasoning abilities. He works good with the General Assembly, and every time I've called him, he's been attentive and called us, just like you. And I shouldn't. And I've got to remember, we also have to remember Representative McNeely in our north end and Mitchell Setzer, who serves more of our western Catawba sides. And we're blessed with good legislators that help us.
And y'all may not always agree with what we say, and that's fine, but at least...
No, it's not fine. We just let them die with it.
I told you. I'm not allowed to disagree.
but at least you think enough of the sheriff to call and ask and have those good, engaging conversations.
Yeah.
And you may be hearing something from the legislative side that perhaps maybe we didn't think about. But at the same time, you're willing to listen to him and us from the law enforcement boots on the ground side, and if y'all can work with us, you always have.
Yeah.
You've always been extremely.
And Senator
attentive.
Sawyer, she has actually had it to where one night we was doing a manhunt out on I can't remember what we had a manhunt, and I'll never forget Eddie Caldwell, the president, or the EVP, our executive vice president, called me and said, "Would you please talk to your senator?" And basically we was disagreeing on the. So I said, "Listen, I understand the position, worked it out, great." But that's what's great to come back to have that. We know in Iredell we've got those relationships. And I do talk. And I tell him about, listen, I talk to you probably more on issues in Raleigh than I do anybody else. And, one of the things, if they hadn't seen it yet, you filed for re-election.
I did file for re-election. I did.
So
I made some really liberals very angry over that. To be liberal and supposed to be loving of all, they're really mean on Twitter.
That and the people that want y'all to legalize marijuana, they are too.
That's right. No, I'm excited to run. I mean, I will know on Friday who's going to be. Filing will be over. I say that next time around we need to shorten the filing period to 5 days because it's like the 10 longest days.
And everybody waits to the last minute.
Yeah, they do.
It's either the first day before lunchtime or the last day before noon.
They absolutely do. Yeah, they really do. So we'll see what it all shakes out. But we got some elections coming up for us.
There'll be a lot of them. I think we'll have House and all the House and Senate races.
Yeah, every 2 years.
Trying to think, DA's race will be this time. Sarah Kirkman, I did see she filed. Judges.
School board.
I just know that not the sheriff.
And
registered deeds and clerk. We don't run. We'll run 2 years.
10th District House.
Yep.
U.S.
That's right.
House.
Yeah.
That's right. So do the research. That's one thing I just think, Iredell is a big county in that district. We've always sort of been pushed to the side. I think Iredell has a chance to really be heard this time. And, people have to make their own decision. Everybody's got their own vote. But I think, what's that thing about, you look at your past history, be an indicator of what's going forward. And I think you'll be fine on that one. And
well, we were actually looking at it. I don't know that in Iredell County history, maybe some of your listeners can correct me, if we've ever had a congressman from the county of Iredell.
I don't know.
I don't know that we have. As they said that now Governor Martin actually served in Congress before he became governor, but he never really lived in Iredell at that time. He was actually in Davidson. So that's about the closest that we have. But I'm excited to have an Iredell homegrown guy running and hopefully.
And there again, I'm nothing about anybody else.
Right.
A lot of good service, a lot of good military. I
Yeah.
respect that. I just.
Yes, sir.
My vote's going to be cast with the experience. Experience is what means a lot to me.
Right.
And the support of law enforcement. And somebody has demonstrated that in the past. I think that's very important. Of course, we really didn't know this until like 9 days ago, that there's even going to be an opening there, with Representative McHenry's retirement, which we've had him on the show here numerous times.
We sure have, yes, sir.
Still talked to him. Spoke to him this week earlier. So there's definitely, great friendship. He served his time, and I told him he's done a fine job by us with law enforcement. But
yes, sir.
And just like you talking with him about House Resolution 3333, the man's announced he's going to retire, but he's still up there working for the citizens of Iredell County.
Yeah, I think they said I could have said it a little bit more nicer, but it's just we understand one language, and sometimes that's blunt. But you get so frustrated when I sit there and think we took it off of a rainy Sunday evening, how close to schools you were, churches you were. And the fact that you could have killed 2.5 times the population of the whole state. So, well, Vickie, we appreciate you, or Senator Sawyer, we appreciate you being here today.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed our time.
Thank you.
It's hard to tell what music we'll have next week, but we'll be back next Wednesday, 3 o'clock. And obviously the podcast, get it out and listen to us on Facebook and leave any comments going forward. And thank you. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Happy holidays from